The RTX 4060 Ti GPU had almost zero pre-launch consumer interest, and this quickly came out to be true when it was seen that the RTX 4060 Ti was selling the worst of all the Ada GPUs. It hasn't improved since its launch, and there is hardly a single 4060 Ti GPU in the top 50 best-selling graphics cards on Amazon. But Nvidia still has the audacity to boast about its RTX 40 GPUs in a way that would give a false impression to the consumers that these GPUs are the best ones from Nvidia. What I'm going to share here is perhaps the most embarrassing statements Nvidia has given so far after Jensen's way of saving money.
The more you buy, the more you save. That's right. The more you buy, the more you save.
At the recent technology conference, Jeff Fisher shared some recent stats on Ada GPUs, which gives a false representation of the current GPU market and consumer behavior. For instance, he said that in terms of revenue generation, it is ramping 3 times faster than Turing and about 40% faster than Ampere. Simply put, he claims that the RTX 40 GPUs saw 40% higher sell-through than the RTX 30 GPUs, and this is mostly due to their higher-end 4070 GPUs and up. He further adds that I shared with you how the 4070 Ti is doing relative to prior gens, and in fact the early results from lower down Ada are also very strong. So he's claiming that the RTX 4060 Ti is also doing great, which I just showed you a minute ago. But in this part things look pretty lame. He says that what we have seen today for Ada in this class 699 and up, meaning the 4070 and higher end GPUs, is a $300 to $400 upgrade in mix in the high end. So gamers who are buying our high end of Ada are buying from a much lower class of product, meaning that people who upgraded to 4070 and higher end GPUs upgraded from something like a 3060, and this is super exciting for Nvidia. I mean, this is so obvious that people who own a 3060 will go for a 4070 because that's what normal people do when they upgrade to a higher end GPU. Then he says that Ampere was in the $200 to $300 upgrade range and Turing was probably a bit below that. And upon asking if this means that people are now spending $300 to $400 more for the Ada cards compared to just $200 when they upgraded to Ampere, he answers right, relative to what they had. So technically Jeff says that their RTX 40 cards are so good that gamers are willing to pay $200 more than what they did upgrading to Ampere GPUs. And this is why Nvidia claims that it is helping them ramp up their revenue much faster compared to 2020. Of course, that's how math works. When you launch the 4070 Ti for a $200 higher price than the 3070 Ti, naturally people will be forced to pay $200 more when upgrading. Saying that gamers are going for a bigger upgrade compared to the previous generations, they forgot that this is because gamers are not choosing the 4060 Ti as it is a garbage card that hardly outperforms the 3060 Ti. So what do? They instead go for the more expensive 4070 and 4070 Ti because these are the only acceptable GPUs available right now. How do you expect gamers to upgrade in the same GPU tier when the new GPUs are hardly getting 10% better in performance? So clearly it looks like a marketing tactic that shows the 40 GPUs in a good light. But the recent GPU sales stats reveal everything that is going on in the GPU market. But before we move on to that, consider subscribing if you're enjoying the content till now. We're so close to the first 1000 subscribers, and your subscriptions will help out the channel immensely. Now coming back, the recent John Pedi research has just published the total shipments of desktop graphics cards, and it clearly shows that Nvidia is currently at one of the lowest points in the last 10 years. Compared to the first quarter of 2022 where Nvidia shipped 10 million GPUs, the company just shipped half of that this year, and it is even lower than the Q4 2022 which had poor GPU pricing than now and even lower availability. Similarly, AMD GPU shipments also declined massively compared to the last year, and it is hardly touching 1 million units in the whole quarter. So overall the total GPU shipments have dropped by 38% year over year, and it is currently the lowest quarterly sales in decades. But then we have Nvidia openly talking about how well their Ada GPUs are selling compared to the Ampere family, which by the way wasn't even available for almost 2 years, and now they expect that gamers will wholeheartedly accept the 4060 for $300, which is barely going to beat the 3060. It is going to feature just 8 GB of VRAM on a 128-bit bus, so it won't have any advantage over the 3060 except for some minor improvements here and there. And this comes at a time when the GDDR6 VRAM prices are at lowest since 2022. As per 3D Center, the cost of 8 GB memory is just $27 compared to $104 in Feb 2022. This raises the question of why Nvidia couldn't equip the RTX 4060 Ti with at least 12 GB of VRAM for $400. All it had to do is give it a 192-bit bus and provide it with 4 GB more VRAM to make it more appealing than before. Instead, it chose to limit the memory bus to just 128-bit, which if you compare to the Ampere and Turing generations, the 3060 Ti and 2060 Super both had 256-bit memory bus for the same amount of VRAM, and even the lower end cards like the 3060 and 2060 had the options for both 6 and 12 GB. So if you consider the current pricing of 4060 GPUs, Nvidia could have easily given the 4060 Ti 8 GB memory for less than $350, and it would hardly cost $50 extra for putting additional 8 GB memory ICs. This additional VRAM could easily serve many purposes, including gaming on ultra settings and also for storing your Windows OS, as I have shown in this video right here. Lastly, let me know your opinion on Nvidia's statements in the comments below. Also hit the like button if you found the video informative and subscribe for more stories like this. Make sure to turn on the notifications to never miss any latest uploads to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.